Welcome to the NEC Women in Business series. At NEC, we'd like to take this opportunity to celebrate the social, economic, cultural and political achievements of women around the globe. Throughout this series, we'll be talking to women from NEC and highlighting their experiences, knowledge and mindsets within business. Today I have with me Mel Barber, who is Head of Field Delivery for NEC New Zealand. Mel originally started in the telecommunications industry in 2010. During her time with Venetia, she held roles in quality assurance and project management, culminating in being the project director of a national fibre rollout. She joined NEC in October 2020 and really enjoying being part of the New Zealand team. Mel, thanks for being with me today. How do you balance work life and responsibilities?
So I think it's really about making that conscious effort to turn off and to actually have that time where you just leave your work phone at home. I used to go through stages of taking my laptop on holiday with me just in case something happened. But it's about actually just, really not one person is that important. And you can delegate things out for a short period of time. And, the world never ended any of the times that I did that. And I think it's just having that faith in the people that you work with, that they'll have your back when you're there, so you can actually focus on that quality time. And I've used that analogy of actually I don't perform brain surgery.
Yeah, that's so right.
Being done at 9 o'clock at night is no different to being done at 8 o'clock in the morning 99% of the time.
What advice would you give to the next generation of female leaders, especially those that are in a male-dominated industry?
I think a lot of it is about not underestimating your capabilities. Worked with women who kind of play down their knowledge and their skills and their abilities, and sometimes continually apologise for having an idea and I don't want to be the one to say it, but actually have that faith and accept that women are actually just as competent as men, and we shouldn't have to apologise for having ideas as long as we're professional and respectful when we put those across. And also realising that you don't have to turn into one of the boys. You can retain your own values. Women in general do tend to be more empathetic and value those relationships. And that can really help with understanding what drives and motivates people to succeed. And then probably lastly is investing in yourself. So taking the time to identify, webinars or leadership opportunities, events that come up and actually attending them, and not being afraid to actually go to your line manager and say, actually, this is a great opportunity. Would you like to pay half?
So on that, how do you gain commitment from your team, especially if they're a bit uneasy about working with a female?
But where you can actually spend that time building relationships with your team and understanding what drives them. It was interesting joining NEC. So all bar one of my 45 field staff are males. A large proportion of them are in the 55 to 70 age bracket. So having a female was quite new to them, especially in a leadership role. And so I started doing some meetings with my indirect reports in smaller groups just to start building those relationships. And part of the feedback I got afterwards was, oh, she seems pretty straight up, which for an engineer is quite high praise, I was told.
What would you tell your 18-year-old self about career management?
I think a lot of it is about having that faith in your abilities and taking those risks. So there's a whole pile of research out there that talks about how when a female's looking at a job ad, unless we tick every single box, we don't bother applying for it because there's that one thing that we don't know how to do. Whereas males go, no, I can do some of those things. It'll be fine. I'll give it a crack and I'll see what happens. And I think it's really about taking those risks and putting yourself out there. And you're not going to be successful in every role that you go for, but even the experience of applying is actually, really valuable sometimes. And probably the other thing is understanding you don't need to know everything. You don't need to be the technical expert on everything. You need to certainly have a good base knowledge, but it's more important to build those relationships with the people that do know, that the different facets, because you don't need to be that expert. You just need to know who to talk to.
And I think, being a leader in general, it's about having a team that can support you and does have the understanding, because leaders don't know absolutely everything, but having that team that's around you that does have those capabilities is super important. Thanks so much for your time today, and you've had some fantastic insights. Join us in the next episode of this series to hear from other females within NEC and their varied experiences within business.